Hello everyone, this is Derek T. Billups Sr., President of the Foundation for Financial Fitness Incorporated. Today, Saturday, December the 10th, at Media Books Incorporated, Philadelphia Pike, Claymont, Delaware, Finance, Fitness, and Health Seminar with Dr. Paul Hopkins, Doctor of Naturopath, Tim and Angel Hunter, Certified Personal Trainers, and myself, Derek T. Billups Sr., Financial Advisor. This is the tip portion of the Finance, Fitness, and Health Seminar. And right now we have Dr. Paul Hopkins. He's going to give us some tips on some healthy things, things we shouldn't do in terms of how to eat, when to eat, and all those great things. So right now, let me introduce to you Dr. Paul Hopkins, Doctor of Naturopath.
Yes,
Hello, Dr. Paul.
Hello, there.
How are you, sir?
Pleasure to see you.
Good. I want to ask you a couple quick questions here. Because, you know, it's Finance, Fitness, and Health Seminar. One of the things I know is that it's always about, not so much about what you eat, but it's when you eat.
Absolutely.
Help us to understand about when you eat and when you should eat certain things.
Okay. What most people don't realize is that there is a cycle going on inside of everyone. And that cycle is called circadian rhythm. Circadian is just a 50-cent word for circle. That's all it means. It's a cycle. So anything that eats, that goes through a bile cycle, actually goes through this cycle. But most of us are bucking against that system, and we're going against that. So we want to know, how do we get back into the circadian rhythm? Because the cycles of the body are based off of everything when you're eating, digestion, sleep, and also where you get your energy from. So some of the things that we start with is bringing you back into the first cycle, which is from 12 noon to 7 p.m. And that's the first cycle, called the intake cycle. And from that intake cycle, that's when you got to get it in. That means all the stuff that you basically, as far as energy, proteins, vegetables, even water, has to be maximized in that time. And that's the max time. We call that the intake cycle.
So let me ask you a question. I'm sorry. So you're saying between 12 noon and 7 p.m.
That's your first cycle.
That's the first cycle. And that's the time we should be, are you saying we should be eating the most, or?
Not necessarily eating the most, but just getting the most as far as maximum energy.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Great.
That leads into the second cycle, which is 7 p.m. going all the way to 4 a.m. in the morning. That's called assimilation. Now that's the cycle when most people get caught up the most, because that's the time when the body is actually taking whatever it took in the intake cycle, brings it into the body. You have this villi that sits in the gut, that actually moves back and forth. And what that does is take the food, the nutrients out of the food, and brings it into the bloodstream. But if you or someone is eating late, that's going to cause a problem. You can block the villi. Or you can eat things like gluten, which is a bad piece that actually is coming from a lot of the wheat, and the bad GMOs and pharmaceutical drugs, or anything that can be blocking that could damage that area of the assimilation. So we have to know assimilation is how you get your energy and maintain your energy.
So, and let me ask you another question. So from 7 p.m. to 4 a.m., are you saying we shouldn't eat anything, or are there certain things we can and cannot eat during that time?
In the assimilation cycle, the body is in a state of more rest. So it's trying to metabolize and grant the energy that's in the food. But if you had to not eat, that would be a good rest time.
Okay.
Okay? But we're saying you can eat anytime, you know, as far as veggies. Veggies anytime. But definitely no meats in that cycle.
Okay. So why not any meats during that time?
Because the body, again, as it's assimilating, you don't want to actually try to now intake and process food when it's already in a state of assimilation. See, that's what we call bucking the system.
Okay.
When you buck the system, now you're going against the body. First thing that causes constipation.
Okay.
And then that's when we have major problems.
Okay, so that was the second.
Yeah.
All right.
Last cycle is 4 a.m. all the way to 12 noon the next day. And that is the cleansing cycle. So that's when the body is detoxing from the lower intestines to the large intestines, also the lymphatic system. That's how the body is actually purging all of the toxins out of the body that we need to be doing. The rule that we say is if you eat, you must eliminate.
Okay.
So if you're eating 3 times a day, you should be eliminating 3 times a day.
Okay. So is it safe to say between at 4 a.m. and 12 noon, let's say someone gets up at 6 o'clock or so forth, would they be eliminating during that time? This is most of the elimination or some of the elimination from overnight? Will that be happening during the daytime?
The rule is to know where you are at all times and don't break the rules.
Don't break the rules, so know where you are.
So when you wake up in the morning, you're automatically cleansing. For example, when you wake up, you know they say the Sandman came to see you.
Right.
Well, that
in your
sludge in the eye is actually the eyes detoxing. When the skin gets ashy, that's the skin actually flushing. You go to the bathroom, you're coughing, you're sneezing, you know, all of that's part of the detox. So you're already in the cleansing cycle. So what we say is go with the system. In naturopathy, we go with the body. We don't go against the body.
Okay. All right, so Doc, you said 12 noon to 7 a.m. is first, 7 p.m. to 4 a.m. second, and 4 a.m. to 12 noon is the third.
You got it.
And what's the name of that? It's only 3. And what's the cycle
again? That's the cleansing cycle is the last one.
That's the cleansing cycle. But what's the circle called? What is it called?
It's called circadian rhythm.
Circadian
which means 50-cent word for circle.
All right, circle. All right. Couple quick things I want to ask you again. We have on the table here this pink salt. Is this salt, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what is this salt called, and why should we be using this salt as opposed to another salt?
Okay, this is what I recommend highly because this is called pink Himalayan salt. Okay, Himalayan salt, one of the oldest salts on the planet. Actually, it's about 1 billion years old. Sat in the Himalayan mountains and sat where the mountain lava actually sat on the planet, and it just sat for 1 billion years. So when you actually take this salt, you're getting the maximum energy for 1 billion years worth of energy. And in every one of these crystals, it actually was so compressed that it turned pink. So what you're doing is when you get this into your body, whether you're taking it in your foods, soups, salads, casseroles, whatever you're doing, add it to your dietary supplement. And this will give you 84 to 90 minerals. Highest being potassium, magnesium, chromium, calcium, even iron is in the salt. So what that does, it actually is good for high blood pressure. It's also good for sugar levels. It's good for anything with bones, joints, ligaments. Put it in your bath water, and it actually soothes every part of the body's bones, joints, and ligaments.
So as opposed to the white salt,
right?
Okay, we want to use this. Right. But another myth, obviously, is that we're always told we shouldn't be eating salt or using salt.
Right.
So you're saying that this is a salt that we can use, put in our body, and for various other reasons.
The biggest myth is that salt, to stay off of salt. But even Scripture says, you the salt of the earth. Now I can't have no salt, somebody lying.
Right.
So the truth of the matter is that the white salt has been refined, shocked with chemicals, and then artificial iodines have been added. That's actually chlorine. It's actually a form of sodium chloride. So that is actually bleach. So that's not salt. This is organic salt. This is from the earth. And when it gets into your body, your liver, your pancreas, your kidneys, it utilizes it to maximize energy. Also pulls heavy metal out of the body. You put this in a foot bath, and it kills foot fungus. So it's a million things that it does. When we feed the body in turn heals itself.
Great. Doc, I use this salt now, and I'm a salt eater, and I moved from that old white salt to this salt, and it's awesome.
It makes an incredible
awesome
difference. Yes.
I'm going to go to two quick things again. First, the water.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about this. I use this water. Right. Crystal Geyser.
Right.
I always get confused with the name, but Crystal Geyser. Yes. And it says bottled at the source.
Yes.
And what's important about bottled at the source?
Well, first of all, for those who may be looking at this video, you want to make sure, we have an understanding. An understanding was when they determined that people would buy water in a bottle, everybody got the game. Would you say?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So we have to watch certain waters that we get. And there's 4 major waters we got to stay away from. One is anything that's distilled, anything that has actually been processed in any way, whether it's been processed with pulling the minerals out of it in any way. Okay. You have to stay away from it. Distilled,
filtered? Is it filtered?
Filtered, purified, distilled, and reverse osmosis.
So we're looking for waters that should say on that bottle somewhere that says bottled at the source.
Right, which means that that's nature's water, which means it's on the earth. There are some of the greatest finds which are called geysers or artesian waters or some of the purest water called bottled at the source, pure sources.
Pure sources.
So with that, this is one of those pure sources.
Okay.
And this is probably the best because it's actually bottle at the source right across the front, and it's found in your local dollar store. So when we test this against some of the greatest and biggest brands that are out there, and this score is just as high. So for the value of what it does and also the price, it is the best buy. And with this water, remember, they're not pulling the charge. When you purify, filter, reverse, or distill water, you're pulling the charge. You pull the charge, you pull the hydrogen. You pull the hydrogen, dead water.
All right, great.
Okay?
So we want to make sure we get something that says
make sure
bottled at the source.
Bottled at the source. Spring water, that's bottled at the source. That's
okay.
the key.
All right, great. Last thing, Doc, you have on the table here, you have a lot of herbs. And I know one of your sayings is, we have an herb for
everything.
Everything. We have an herb for everything. So quickly, we don't have a couple minutes here.
Okay.
Quickly show us a few of the herbs, tell us what they do, and then we'll tell everyone how we can get them from you.
This is the time, and I usually lay out whatever is the seasonal support for where we are right now. This is the winter month, so one of the first one is called nettle.
Nettle.
Nettle. Nettle. Nettle. Nettle is actually an herb that's been used for, even in ancient times, for cleaning out the sinuses. It's an expectorant, so it pulls mucus out of the body. It's excellent for colds and flus. But also it's good for those who have public speaking, and it cleans the larynx, so the vocal cords. So it's a singer's herb.
Okay.
So we use that, but it's also it's natural antibiotic. So it has those properties and antiviral.
Great. Great.
Second one would be chamomile. This is the thing when those who have problem relaxing. This is chamomile. Chamomile is the relaxation of the body. So you would prepare some of this tea in the evening, and it would help you with sleep issues. If you have issues with stress and relaxation and anxiety, that's what chamomile is for.
Give us one more, Doc, please.
One more,
please.
One more I would use is this one here called comfrey. Comfrey is what we call the strength tea. Okay, or the strength herb. This is for bones, joints, ligament, very high in iron. Comfrey has been used for centuries for regenerating the bone density. So women who have issues with bone density, that's the comfrey. This is also good for generating bone marrow, which means it cleans blood and gives the energy back to the bones. So comfrey is one that we use also for hair, skin, and nails. So it does a multitude of things for the body. But at this time of the year when you really need the strength and energy for the immune support, that's what the comfrey does.
All right, great. Great information, Doc. I want to take this opportunity to thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us. Again, this is Derek T. Billups Sr., President of the Foundation for Financial Fitness Incorporated, Finance, Fitness, and Health Seminar. This is the kind of information you get with Dr. Paul Hopkins. If you need any information, you can reach me at www.f4ff.net, Financial Fitness at f4ff.net, or area code 856-577-2903. You can get information on Dr. Paul from me, as well as Tim and Angel Hunter. Have a great financial fitness week.